like your favorite.
It's 5:30 and we have a quorum. Would you please stand and salute the United States flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. In our prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, and we thank you for the honor and privilege to just be a part of a great district. And we just ask that you give us wisdom to make decisions that will benefit our kids. We pray that you would always protect us as you always do, and that you would bless this week as everybody goes, as these kids come back. I just ask that you would help us to do what's best for them and help us to see them through your eyes. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, it's time for Student Spotlight.
He is not here. I talked to them today and they said they were coming, but he's not here yet.
Well, yeah, we can wait, and if they show up, we can do it.
Okay.
If not, we can catch him during the week.
So,
But Mr. Fernandez is here, Tony. Yes, Tony. So we'll go to our staff spotlight. Tony grew up here, and he's been a big part of.
I have to stand somewhere?
Oh no, it's fine, Tony. You're good. We'll take a picture here in a minute. And but Tony grew up here. He's been a big part of the community, and he's been a great addition to ISD. And you've probably seen him around town low these many years. But any Friday night varsity football game, he's working the sidelines. And Liz Schoaf really put some nice words together here too. She said, Tony's a valuable member of the high school team. His willingness to help whenever or wherever needed is extremely appreciated. He does a great job of building up our students and helping them see their worth and value. He leads by example and sees every day as an opportunity to help the students and the campus be the best they can be. And Tony for years has taught young people mixed martial arts. So the MMA thing for kids, a lot of kids enjoy that, and like it's a good outlet for them. And so Tony, we're sure glad you're here. You help a lot of kids, and he's our ISS teacher at the high school. So he gets kids that sometimes have made a mistake or a bad decision, and he tries to help them turn it around and get back to the campus. So anyway, well, Tony, we're sure proud of you.
Well, thank you.
So just be me and Tony then.
May I ask Mr. Alderson to be in this with me?
Yeah, Charles, come on.
Since he was a major inspiration to me.
Good, yes.
Now I remember where I was.
Yes, sir. You kind of saved my life, actually.
Thank you.
Here's Charles.
Thank you.
All right.
that was awesome.
Okay. Here we go. I'll get about 3 or 4 of them. All right. Thank you all.
Anyone here to make a public comment on an item that's not on the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll move forward to the consent agenda. For those of you who don't know, there are things that we routinely approve that we don't go into detail on. And tonight, these include the minutes of February 20th, financial statements as of February 28th, bills and payrolls for February and 23, any budget amendments, year-to-date budget amendments to fund balance, quarterly investment report as of February, vital signs report, food service report. Do we hear a motion that we accept these?
I'll make the motion.
Charles, and seconded and thirded. All right. All in favor? And that's approved. Now we're going to have information items, and we'll start with community outreach.
Michelle, come on out.
All right.
Woo-hoo, 2 months in a row.
I made y'all
We love it.
packet,
Awesome.
so you can follow along.
Of course you do.
Ah. I even printed them in color, aren't you impressed?
I'm a bicycle.
Uh-huh. Okay, so, you know, I just love having Scott for a boss because I'll go, hey, what do you think? And he goes, oh God, what? But we came up with an idea to do a couple of community gatherings during the year. And the next one we're having is on May 4th, and we're calling it Spring into Summer. And that's the first page of your packet. That's our flyer. And what the idea behind this was to give parents an idea of the things they could do during the summer with their kiddos. Not only kiddos themselves, but what they could do as families. So we have gathered about, 38 different vendors, entities. That's the third page. This is who we have committed so far to come, hand out information, tell about what you could do, like the Texas Ranger Museum's coming, and Topsy Wildlife, and let's see, Sun Country Cycle is coming, and they're going to also be helping with our bike rodeo that we will be having that day. And in addition to having the bike rodeo, we're going to give out 100 free helmets that were donated, half by the community and half by the Texas Medical Association. Oh, and then, let's see. So we have that going on. It's a little thing. Then we'll also be spotlighting kids who had good attendance. We have some gift cards and some bicycles to give away in a drawing. The kids, depending on which school you're at, there's a little bit different thing for each one. But for instance, at the elementary school, they have 2 bikes they're going to give away. And in order to be in the drawing, you have had to have had no more than 3, she left, 3 absences and no discipline referrals. And so all of those kids will be put in a big barrel or something, and we'll draw out 2 names, and they'll get brand new bikes. And then we have something for the primary, something at the intermediate, junior high and high school. Couldn't just give them cash, so they're gonna get some gift cards. So we'll have that. Also, at the May 4th event, we've invited all of the local churches to come and bring information about their vacation Bible schools or camps. And we are going to compile a community calendar that we'll hand out to everyone that attends. So they'll have all the dates on that. So we just want to make it a big community event. We'll have it every year. Hopefully it'll grow bigger and better. I'm sure I'm leaving some stuff out. Then the next day, we are having a shot clinic for any kids that need their shots. And then the last little piece in your packet is just a reminder that we are going to have our back to school bash again in August. And the really cool thing that I found out since we met last time is we have been given 300 pair of brand new shoes to give out. So, anyway, that's all we've been up to. Do you have any questions?
Good job.
Way to go.
So I'm gonna piggyback onto her. I'm Krista Hitt, one of the district's social workers, case manager. I wanted to take this opportunity to tell y'all that, first of all, thank y'all for allowing us to do what we do. A lot of school districts don't do this, and y'all probably don't hear those conversations that we get the opportunity to hear. We get to hear, so what do you do when we go to these conferences, things like that. We get to explain to them what we do and how our school district supports us and how our school board supports us. So one of the things last year in May, Joyce, Pam, and myself, we went to the Texas Network of Youth Services Conference in Houston. And we're there, it's one of the biggest organizations in the state of Texas. And they support your foster, your adoptive, your CPS kids, they support schools, they have housing for people, they do transition for after age care, they have programs in schools, programs in hospitals, all of these different things, all of these resources, and we were all in one building, and we were the only ones there that were unique to what we do. So we started telling them kind of about the SCGC, the School Community Guidance Center, what we do for our district and what our community and what our school board and what GISD wants to do to help our kids move forward and be better. And so this year, we just wanted to announce that we have been given the opportunity to present at this conference, to tell them a little bit more about what we do, where we come from, and why we do it. And so hopefully, y'all see the seed that this is planting, that it's growing and it's going to other communities, and we hope that they're seeing that it's a need, and that we get to be kind of, we get to be the jump start for it. And hopefully others may not be exactly like this, but they begin to see that they can do these things in their district too, no matter how small or how big. So Ms. Cole's going to tell you a little bit about kind of what the conference does.
The conference is, Texas Network of Youth Services has been up and running for 40 years. In the 80s, it's kind of come full circle to me because I'm old, you know. You're going to say that, go ahead.
Sure.
And I served 10 years on the board of the Texas Network of Youth Services, and just fell in love with the organization and what it does, because it embraces all of Texas youth, at-risk kids. Anything that is considered an at-risk youth, they embrace. Just a few, I guess right before spring break, I don't know, y'all saw the law class with Miss Shelby.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all saw that or
Ms.
not.
Hamilton.
We took, Miss Hamilton took 20 kids to, it was called Youth Advocacy Day. It was sponsored by Texas Network of Youth Services. They fed them breakfast, they fed them lunch. They taught them how to lobby. They showed them the bills about things that were going to impact our schools and different things that made a difference to youth. And then they told them, go lobby with your legislators. And so our kids got to go into the White House, into the Capitol building, and meet on their own our legislators and advocate for them. And so I think that's one of the coolest things, because there's, since COVID, it's growing again. When I was involved, there was probably 1,000 kids on the lawn, but now there's about 400 or 500 since, but it's coming back. And so hopefully the kids got so much out of it. They learned that they are empowered at 16 and 17 and 18. They do have a voice, and the legislators do listen to them. And so they came back very excited, and so that was a piece of this. And so we are really excited to present to this organization, because there is juvenile probation, there's mental health professionals, there's health professionals, there's schools, there's group homes and organizations all over the state of Texas that go. And so it's a very large, big conference, and we are very excited to be able to be presenters and advocate what we do for Gatesville ISD. So thank y'all so much.
Sure support that.
Thank you.
She's our support system.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
You bet. Investment account. Oh, let's go back to those.
Yes.
Student who's in here.
So, I think Junior's here. Junior, this is a really good story. So, Keegan wrote this up for me. Basically, this is funny, but they've spent a lot of time this year talking to the kids about safety. You know, worried about strangers, and after, you know, we've had some violence across the country, being always on the lookout for somebody that looks suspicious. And so one day, this is Juan Rodriguez, he goes by Junior, he's a 3rd grade student, he's in Miss Thornton's class, and he really took this to heart, because he stopped Toby Williams, our maintenance director, and really gave him the 3rd degree. So he didn't recognize him, and so he viewed Toby as an unknown person, and so he asked him, who might you be? What do you do here? And so he was making sure that Mr. Williams was supposed to be in the school. And so he's always got a smile on his face. The teachers and Miss Webb really bragged on him. He's really jovial, always glad to see people, and just has a great personality. So we thought, this is a great story. Let's honor Junior. So Junior, come on up. We've got a... Thanks for making our school safe. And we want to get your picture. Keegan, Miss Thornton, Carrie, y'all come on up here. Junior, let's stand right here. We're going to take a picture. It's going to be in the newspaper.
I'm not on the pictures. Make Mama get up there.
Okay.
Make Mama get up there. She's
Stand right here.
We're gonna turn and face this way,
Let's
okay?
turn this way.
I'm not.
Turn that way.
And look at him. He's going to take your picture for the paper.
Okay, y'all ready? Okay,
Get in
everybody get in it?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Congratulations, young man. Come here, buddy. Now you can mess up your hair.
That's right.
Now we'll move to action items. The first one is a new investment account with tabs, Lone Star Pooled Funds.
This will be exciting.
I can't wait.
Well, things change, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Now interest rates are going up. Which if you noticed on the quarterly investment report that was in your book this month, that little investment income chart is shooting straight up. In fact, we're making, probably coming close to making $1 million a year on our investments. That's how much they've gone up. So that's going to be able to, to really take a dent in that ESSER cliff that we're facing. So we're very excited about that. So, but we got to continue to keep an eye out on our investment portfolio and what it's doing. So one of our investments is an investment pool called TextPool. You've seen that over the years. There's about 3 major pools like that in the state of Texas. One of them is managed by TASB, which is the organization that you guys deal with all the time. And it's called Lone Star. They have about $22 billion in investments. And their rates are approaching 5% just on a pool. One of our investments is TFNB, the bank over in McGregor, the ICS account, and so now it's falling behind a little bit what we can get through a pool. So I'm proposing to the board that I've looked at these pools over the years, but I've never been this excited about their rates. But they're attractive now, and it's time to divest some of our investments and broaden our scope and include another pool or two out of public funds. And this one is, managed by TASB, and it is the second largest pool behind TextPool. And so I'm proposing tonight that we open up an account with TASB with the Lone Star Pool Fund with a $100,000 investment that we'll take out of the TFNB ICS account, which is falling behind a little bit on the interest. The forms are all in your booklet, and this is a very highly rated fund. Anyway, this is our quest as your investment officers to make sure that our investments are secure, are productive, and are as competitive as we can possibly get without sacrificing safety, security, and liquidity.
You
So
pretty
you
much
guys
stay with,
bring all-
you stay with TASB and mostly on the recommendation of those.
TASB
investments.
has one fund that competes against TextPool.
Oh, it competes against it.
Competes against TextPool. So we already have TextPool. So I'm proposing that we add another one to our investment portfolio, which is TASB's Lone Star Fund. And I'm thinking about next month doing another one. So it's time to kind of spread the risk and take advantage of some good rates.
He's diversifying the portfolio.
Are we moving funds from one fund to another, or this? is
Well, we'll lower the funds in the TFNB ICS account. Yes.
So he's taking it from one investment.
One investment.
And putting it in one with a higher interest rate.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. It's not additional money being added.
Right.
That's correct.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah, good
Do I
idea.
hear a motion to accept? Jimmy, any second? Charles, okay. All in favor? It passes.
This is the first time I've actually recommended to you a new pool since I've been here. But I've
Now,
been
amendment
watching
to
it all along.
FSMC contract.
It's a good rate.
Okay.
Thank you, Daryl. I said thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, as you guys know, our food service company is Southwest Foods, and their general manager, Megan, is here with us tonight. She's here full-time with Gatesville ISD, and she's doing a great job. We appreciate all you do, Megan. She's has a lot of energy, and she has lots of great creative ideas to improve the program. One of the things that we have, of course, is that we went with this food service management company a couple of years ago, and after we committed with them on a fixed rate contract, and they had a very low, very reasonable rate. And that has actually enabled us to build, for the first time, a profit in the food service program. And if you noticed on the audit for August of '22, we had a handsome balance. The actual cash balance in the food service fund currently is $1 million. You've never seen that.
That's a long way from being scraping the ground.
Yeah, if you recall, when we got started with this, we were running probably a $300,000 deficit on an annual basis. So we've turned it around, thanks to a lot of hard work on a lot of people, including our cafeteria staff. And SFE's been a great company to partner with. And of course, during the COVID, we went 100% free and reduced lunch, which helped participation. And participation now is probably down about 3.5% over what it was last year. We knew once we went back to pay that we would lose some participation. So it's not a terribly big number, but even still, you know, through the productivity of the operation, we're still making a profit, and we're doing very well. One of the things that happened was the USDA, of course they operate through the TDA here in Texas, had a grant, and they called this grant the Supply Chain Assistance Grant. Food prices, as you know, have gone up tremendously, and companies like SFE that had contracts with us on a fixed rate basis, they were not able to charge us anything additional. So they were the ones taking the brunt of these food hikes that we've been experiencing this past year. So I had mentioned several times to the Texas Department of Ag that that's very unfair that they gave us the money when the ones that really were suffering was the food service company that's managing our program for us. They're operating on a fixed rate price, and yet they're the ones that were having to deal with these high prices. Well, I guess finally caught somebody's ear in Washington, and the USDA has finally come down said, okay, we will authorize school districts to increase this year's rate 7.56%. It's not mandatory, but it's something that a school district can do if they want. And this is to help these food service companies like SFE that are on a fixed contract with us to provide some relief from all of these high costs that they've been experiencing. The total grant amount that we've already received is $142,000. So it was a sizable chunk of money. Of course, it went right into our Fund 240. And that's part of the fund balance that you saw August 31, part of the $1 million surplus that we currently have. So I'm here to propose to the school board, since this is voluntary, it's up to each school district to do this or not do it, but we have the authority to do it now from the USDA and from TDA to increase their fee by 7.56% for all of this school year. So it'll go back to August of 22, and it'll run through June 30 of 23. And so what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll recalculate their invoices, and then from this point forward, their invoices will be based on a little higher rate for this 7.56. The 7.56 is actually very close to the new rate that I'll be proposing to you, I would assume probably the next month. It's a rate that's based on some tables, cost of living index tables, and the new rate will be like 8.2% higher, but that 8.2% will be applied toward last year's rate. I mean, toward the original rate from this past year, not the inflated rate that we've been allowed. So the impact would be about $60,000 that we would permit SFE to invoices over and above what they would be doing so under the present contract. So it would be like a contract amendment with SFE for the 22-23 school year, and we would increase their fixed fee by 7.56%, and it comes out to 7611. And next year's rate will probably go up 8.2% to 1.9055. Like I say, the total impact would be about $60,000 for this fiscal year, and we would take that out of the Fund 240 buildup of the surplus that we have, and we would permit SFE to go ahead
Doesn't
and
make much
invoice
of a
us at
dent in
that
$1
higher
million,
rate.
does it?
What's that?
Didn't make much of a dent in $1 million surplus.
No, but it will help our food service company. I mean, it's a partnership that we have, and they've worked real hard and been able to get us some good management of our food service program with some competitive rates. And they cut our cost significantly over the prior food service management company, and it's now showing what that's doing. So I'd like for you guys as a school board to approve our amendment to the current contract with SFE to increase it 7.56%, and to fund it, basically that's about half of what we already received from the government for this supply chain problem. So we still profited from that food service, that food chain grant that we received.
So Darrell, it's not local taxpayer dollars, it's letting them share in the grant.
Sharing the grant that we received from the USDA.
Is there your motion? Jimmy? Okay, we have a second, and all in favor? All right, you got your...
Well, thank you very much, board. It'll mean a lot to our operation and food service program.
It's 5:58, we'll adjourn to go into executive session.